They are killing PvP in Dragon Ball Legends. Now, by now, I think everyone has already experienced the new PvP changes that they've implemented last season. And going into this next season, it seems like they haven't made any adjustments, even though they stated in the news that they've made some matchmaking adjustments, which doesn't seem to be the case. When I was recording for my DKP video that you've probably seen, I faced at least 10 bots. And outside those 10 bots, I think I've had only, 3 real matches, which is completely ridiculous. And I don't even think it's a stretch to say this is probably, for me personally, the worst update that they've ever done in Dragon Ball Legends. Now, it's a pretty big statement considering we had, Zenkai update, which a lot of people did not like, and various other stuff like the 14-star, the Red Star update. There's been a lot of controversial updates throughout the game's history, but for me personally, this is easily the worst update that they've ever dropped in the game, and strictly because of how it hinders me recording videos. I like to record a lot of older unit showcases, and I tend to usually wait for PvP reset to happen so that I get the chance to use these older units, because I'm not going to be sweating with Go Frieza or UVB Fremont into PvP season, right? Now, I know a lot of people, especially free-to-play players, might not have a lot of other characters they could use. They definitely have the top tier units or whatever the case may be. So I mean, I guess it works out for them, but I don't like to do that, especially frame one into the season. I like to try out different teams that I don't usually get to use at higher ranks, so that I get to make videos on them and whatever the case may be, right? But now that's virtually impossible because of their quote-unquote skill-based matchmaking, which matches you with players around your, I guess, skill level. I don't even know how they decide that, because I guess they just look at what your past RP was and they match you with similar players like that. Because I face more people that have been into God rank or whatever the case may be, even though I'm like in like the top 40k. Like last season, I went into this PvP season like in the top 50k because I didn't play PvP for a whole week. And even though I was in the top 50k, I was getting matched up with players that were in God rank and stuff like that, which kind of makes no sense. Now, I do think it's a good thing for casual players because they don't get to face super crazy people right off the bat, like in the early season, which I guess is a good thing, but I just don't see this being a positive change for anyone else. Like, everyone, if you've been on Twitter at all ever since the PvP change, everyone is constantly complaining about this update. Even in the comments, I see people constantly complaining about this update. The matchmaking just makes absolutely no sense. It just makes no sense. And the fact that they haven't even reverted the changes or made some adjustments to it just shows that it doesn't seem like they care about it. I don't know. Like, I'm still holding out hope because this is still a renovation preseason going on right now. So I really hope that they actually take some feedback and make adjustments that are actually meaningful. So the best way I could even voice this opinion is by making a video, and the best way you guys can voice your opinion if you're not a fan of these changes is by letting them know in their social media posts, like on Twitter or Instagram, whatever the case may be, because they do actually in fact read those. But this just has made making videos completely a nightmare, because you really can't go one match without facing either Go Frieza or VB, and if you don't face them, you just end up facing a bot. And that definitely can't be included in a showcase or a video like that. So it's a lose-lose situation. It just makes no sense. Now, you could obviously argue that the meta is just completely ran by Go Frieza and UVB. So even without the matchmaking changes, you're gonna be seeing those units regardless. But trust me, we've had Go Frieza and UVB in the game for pretty much 2 months at this point, close to 2 months. Go Frieza 3 months, and early season was not like this. Sure, you would get your 1 or 2 matches where you go up against Go Frieza UVB, but most of the time, you're just going up against people that are trying out different teams that they can't use normally in a higher rank, right? But this virtually makes that impossible, and it's actually ridiculous, man. It just makes no sense. Like, this type of update generally makes you not want to even play the game, which is crazy because I'm sure they made this update encouraging people to play more PvP, which it just completely had the adverse effect, right? Imagine just queuing into PvP and just facing non-stop bots, because if they can't match you with a player that is, I guess, around your similar skill level, they'll just throw a bot at you, and that just happens to be pretty much 90% of your matches, which is ridiculous. Honestly, I don't think it's really worth trying to preserve this change. Like, they might want to try and take bits and pieces of this change and implement a new system. But to be honest, for me, I think the best solution would just be to revert it back to the old system. The old system might not have been the best or whatever, but I don't think I've seen this much outrage for a PvP change in a while. Like, this is actually crazy, and it's one of the reasons why I do think this is definitely the worst update to PvP that they ever made. But I also forgot to mention that they even made a change to the way you receive RP when you win or lose a match. Now it's just a simple fixed rate. When you win, you get what, I think 65 RP depending on the player you're versus. And then if you lose, what I've encountered is either you lose what, 54 or 13, depending on if the opponent has a lot more RP than you. And it's weird because you can't even see the RP of a opponent that you're faced. All you know is that if it's a regular opponent, you get a certain amount, and then if it's a formidable opponent, if you lose that, then you get 13. That's the only way you can differentiate what type of opponent you're going up against. I don't really understand why they felt the need to remove the player's BR, RP. That just makes no sense, especially for a PvP based game. Like, I just don't understand. And this further makes it even weirder when you go up the ranks, when we have players in the top ranks right now that are reaching 100k RP because of this new RP change. It just makes it so that all you need to do is spend time on the game to further grind up, and you don't really need to play against other good players to actually secure your RP, because the RP you get is basically the same regardless, right? Now, just for a bit of context, the current rank 1 player has, I think, the end of last season had around 112k RP, if I'm not mistaken. Prior to this season, the highest RP someone was getting on a triple RP season was around 40k. That just goes to show you how big of a difference this made for people grinding RP this season. And what's even crazier is that the number 1 and 2 players are at 100k, and then the number 3 player was at like 70k, number 4 was at 50k. It's just too big of a RP differential for this to actually make it somewhat competitive. It just makes no sense whatsoever. I could definitely see some bright sides to it. Like I mentioned, casual players might have a better chance at playing PvP, like I said, more casually and not face against super high ranked players. But I don't know, man. Definitely let me know what you guys think. Do you guys like this change? Are you a fan of the matchmaking now? Are you playing against players that are more around your similar skill level and having good matches? Or is it just a straight up bot fest where you're just playing against a bunch of bots basically and go freeze as UVBs, whatever the case may be? Definitely let me know. And like I said in the beginning, if you have an opinion on this, or if you want to let them know your thoughts on this, then just tweet or comment on their Instagram/Twitter posts, because like I said, they obviously read the tweets and or the replies to their posts, and they get feedback like that, right? So hopefully they release a new survey so we can actually input it directly like that, because this is just not it, man. But definitely let me know in the comments what your thoughts on this new PvP changes. I'm interested to know what you guys have to say. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like and don't forget to subscribe. It's so important, so don't forget. And have a great day. See ya.